What was it about that phone call that spurred you to action or made you think, wait a minute?
Yeah, this is going to seem strange. Um, I was very close to my grandfather. We had a real special bond. And one of the things that he taught me was to be a good listener. And we were just talking, casual conversation, and she says, by the way, I got some shoes that you can have. I want you to have these shoes. Okay, she and I love shoes. That's another story.
Uh-huh.
All right. So when I hear you can have my shoes, that automatically to me was not right. Um, so I did talk to her. She doesn't remember, but I did talk to her a little bit more. I don't remember the exact conversation, but at the point where she said, I got some shoes that I want you to have, I knew something was wrong. And that was just the moment that I decided that something had to be done.
What did you do?
All right, this was during a time when you actually had to use a phone book. And
I remember.
yeah.
Yeah.
So first thing I did was look for a Charlotte phone book and got some numbers because I'm trying to process and think, okay, what do you do? What do you do? I made a call. I'm thinking to the magistrate's office was the first place I got, and asked them what would be the procedure to have someone that was contemplating harming themselves. How would you go about helping that person? And they told me what would have to occur. So I'm thinking,
Was it a long process?
yeah, it's like you have to hear the person say certain things, things like that. So, in talking back to her, yeah, I said, are you really thinking about hurting yourself? And she said, yes. So I'm like, okay, I want you to promise me that you won't do anything until you see me. I want you just to say that you won't hurt yourself until you see me. And to be honest, I didn't really think about the repercussions of what I was doing. It's kind of hard.
I can imagine. All these years later, and we can tell you love each other, and so I can only
It's the first time
imagine.
we've talked about this face to face.
Really?
What I thought about was what it would be like for Wesley to come home and to find his mother. And I couldn't let that happen. I couldn't let that happen to him. I couldn't let it happen to her. So everything else, all the other concerns went out the window.
Did police come to her door, or how did everything end up happening?
I actually went there first because I said I need to be there. I need to be there.
Yeah.
So I went there, and she was in a bad way emotionally. And I was talking to her and trying not to let on that anything was about to happen. The police did show up, and when she found out what was about to happen, she was furious. I mean, she was absolutely furious with me.
What was about to happen? What did happen?
Well, they came in and asked her to identify herself, and she did. And they let her know that they were there to take her to a mental health facility. And of course, this was against her will because she hadn't signed herself in. And at that point was when I told her that because of the conversation that we had earlier, that I had taken steps to have her committed.
When the CMPD officer knocked on the door, this was before the crisis intervention team training, there was a black officer, and he came to the door and he said, I'm going to take you out to Cedar Springs. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? And my Aunt Kelly was there, and I was like, I put two and two together. I don't think I've ever been that mad. I don't think I ever have. I was steaming, but I was scared. I was scared because I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna put me in a mental health facility. I'm not gonna see my son again. All this is running through your head. I don't curse. She said I cursed her. I was just so mad because I felt like she betrayed my trust, that I couldn't trust her anymore. And I was scared. I think probably the biggest thing is I was just scared because I'd never been in a mental health facility. And again, when you watch TV, what does it show? It shows terrible things happen to people at a mental health facility. So I didn't want to go. And he put me in the back of my car, the police car. I was still screaming. I was still yelling. And my Aunt Kelly, I remember she was hugging Wesley. And I just could not believe she did that to me. So I didn't want anything else to do with her. I was that mad.
I'm sure that it was a struggle for you while she was in there. What were you thinking? I mean, did you have some remorse? Did you feel, well, actually, I might have saved her life and saved this boy's mother, so while it was hard, I don't regret what I did?
Of course, you always have second thoughts about things, in hindsight, 2020. But I knew in my heart that I had done the right thing. And when you make decisions that are life altering, you have to understand that not everyone is going to be happy with that decision. And I knew, number one, that she was first and foremost really upset with me. Every conversation that we had, she let me know that in no uncertain terms. So I did not regret what I did. I wanted people to understand why I did what I did. And I don't want you to think that my family is, cold or whatever, because we have actually a very close-knit, loving family. And sometimes that can work for you and it can work against you because you are so close. You're always right there in each other's business, so to speak. But I have that, and I do think that's important, and I'm glad that I have that. But by the same token, you have to be able to step outside of that and look and see, well, everyone may not be happy with this decision, but this is what needs to be done right now. And so I was good with what I had done. It took some time for everybody to come around and accept what I did. My mother was particularly angry with me because, she was very special. They had a really special relationship.
When you look back now, I'm sure that there's no question it was worth the grief and heartache and maybe the distance in relationships it created to see where she is today and where the family is.
Sure. I mean, any family is going to have disagreements from time to time. And as I said, particularly in close-knit families, if you're someone where you don't communicate with your family for weeks or months, then you have less opportunities to have disagreements. I relish and I really treasure the relationship that I have with my family. And, as I said, opinions about mental health and so forth change with different generations. So what I understand, maybe my sisters or my mother before me don't understand why I feel a certain way about things. It all works out. What matters is that no matter what you may think about me today, what your opinion about me is today, a person survived. To me, that's the bottom line.
Not just any person.
Right. We can get past everything else as we have time to work that out. But anyone that's ever lost someone to suicide, you're left with the questions. What if? Why didn't? Why couldn't? It's always why. That's a terrible situation to be in. And it's a situation that nobody really wants to have to encounter.
If we had more people who just acted instead of like, well, I don't know, they might not be, they may be, or I can't do that because somebody in my family is going to get mad. If we had somebody that acted and just did it, the suicide rates would be down. She's always going to be my hero. We've had our ups and downs, don't get me wrong, we have. But at the end of the day, I know she loves me, and she loved me, what they say in the Bible, agape love, unconditional love. She was willing to put our relationship, her mother's relationship, my mom's relationship on the line to save my life. And to me, that's a hero right there. So I am going to have a t-shirt that says everybody needs Aunt Spanky, because if everybody had someone like her, especially someone who was suicidal, we could cut down on 129 Americans that die every day to suicide. So I'm very proud of her. I'm very proud of the work I do, but she's always with me, always.